I've reviewed dozens of kitchen gadgets, and today I'm going to show you 20 of my favourite, which are just genius. And if you enjoy this video, please do consider subscribing. First up is this really cool pickles jar, shaped like an hourglass. You can unscrew the lid on this side, but on the bottom, this is just a silicone base for it to stand on. And you know how when you want to take a pickle out of a jar, you have to kind of fish around for one? They come out all wet, and they can be a little bit difficult to get hold of. Well, check this out. You just tip the whole contents into this new jar, and all that pickling vinegar flows down into the chamber at the bottom. Then screw the lid back on so it's well sealed, turn it upside down, and watch this. All that pickling vinegar flows back down through to preserve your pickles. Pretty cool, huh? Then when you want to eat one, just turn it back upside down, and it makes it really easy to help yourself to one. What a great idea. Now this French fry cutter's really cool. You pull back this lever to open it up, place in your potato, then give it a good push through. Instant French fries, and they're all perfectly uniform. But this is really cool. It's a crinkle cut chip cutter. Just push it down through like this, and it makes some really neat cuts. Then turn them the other way and cut again, and we've got our own homemade crinkle cut fries. It works really well and gives some delicious results. Now, have you ever seen one of these? This is actually for removing the kernels from corn on the cob. You just line it up with the centre, then push it through while twisting the tool. As it goes through, it cuts the kernels clean off the cob. Once you're halfway, you can turn it round and pull it through from the other side. And wow, that's worked really well. What a great gadget. It's removed all of those really well. This part's nice and clean, and these look beautiful and undamaged. Let's take a look at this smashy egg press. It's an orange handle with a hinged press plate that pushes down into this cup. The same sort of thing as a garlic press. To try it out, I'm peeling this egg, then dropping it inside, and I'm going to mash it into this bowl. Give it a squeeze, and out comes the egg. Oh, look at that. I'm doing another one. That is satisfying. Cut the strands off at the end, and you've got this bowl full of shredded egg. You can mix it with a bit of mayonnaise to make a delicious sandwich filling. But have you tried one of these apple corers? It's really cool, with a nice sturdy handle to give you a good grip, and there's this little lever here so you can open up the jaw. You just push it straight down through the centre of your apple. Then open it up to remove the core. Really simple and effective. But check out this 4-in-1 fruit slicer. It comes with 3 different cutting tools, and this sturdy base for holding the fruit. So to quickly slice up an apple, place one on the base, then take this tool and push it straight down over the top. It cuts out the core and gives us 8 perfect segments. If you need to do a tomato, there's this tool. It's similar to the last one, but doesn't have a hole in the middle, and this one's got serrated blades. Push it down through, and it cuts like butter. And this final cutter's for removing the pit from a mango. It might be a little bit awkward to stand up the fruit. You may need to hold it steady while you sit the tool on top, then push down, and it cuts out the 2 side bits with all the fruit, and removes this centerpiece containing the pit. Of course, if there's any fruit left around it, you can use a knife to remove it, and it's cut these outer bits really well. If you want, you can run it over the lip of a drinking glass to completely remove the fruit from the skin, and slice it up with a knife. Now this thing's really cool. It's a hot dog slicer. If we look underneath, there's these lattice slicing blades embedded in the bottom. And to use it, just place a hot dog sausage down on your chopping board, then take your press, and starting from one end, push it down onto the sausage, and kind of roll it back and forth a little to cut it down through. It sticks into the gadget, and you can peel it off. And because the knife blades aren't too deep, it doesn't cut all the way through. It cuts about 1/3 of the way into the sausage. I used it on a few different sausages, then cooked them on the barbecue, and after just a few minutes they start to open up. It's actually a really cool pattern, and it allows those smoky aromas to infuse into the meat. Then just add some sauce for the perfect hot dog. Now, have you ever seen a tin opener like this? It's a really funky design, and it works using this ratchet lever on the top. Slide open the handle, sit it over the can, and line up the arrow. Then as you push the handles back together, it grips the can firmly. Then just use your other hand to ratchet the lever back and forth, and the can starts turning underneath as it cuts. It's a perfect opener if you're right or left-handed, and once you've gone all the way around, remove it. And you've got these little pliers here on the side, which you can use to lift off the lid. And what's really cool is it leaves no sharp edges on the can or on the lid. It's even got this little hook on the side here, which we can use to help with ring pulls. Just slide it underneath and hook it through, then roll back the opener to peel off the lid. Pretty cool, huh? Next I want to show you this thing. It's actually a garlic chopper. The plastic casing opens up, and you can see there's blades that spin inside. You can slide the whole assembly out of the case to make it easier to clean, and you can also see how it works. Turning these wheels spin the gears, which turn these blades. There's a fixed comb at the bottom, and anything trapped in there will get cut into bits. To use it, slide it back into the casing, Place a clove of garlic inside and close the doors. Roll it back and forth over the worktop, and it only takes a few seconds to completely slice it up. That's really cool. To empty it out, turn it upside down and tap it a few times. Then open the doors. And it really has shredded it well. Now, have you ever seen one of these before? It's a butter knife with these small slotted holes running down the edge of the blade, which should help curl the butter as you scrape it off the block. The butter does need to be a little bit soft, so let's see how it works. Then, oh wow, look at that! As I pull the knife across the butter, we get these instant beautiful curls, perfect for spreading on your morning toast. Next we're going to look at this potato ricer gadget. We place a potato inside, then position the plunger over the top and give the handles a good squeeze. And we squidge out this riced mashed potato. It's lovely and fluffy, add some butter, herbs and salt and pepper, and just like this it tastes delicious. Now check out what's inside here. It's wrapped in bubble wrap and it's actually a really cool oil dispenser. I'm filling mine up with olive oil, then sit the brush back on top and to use it, squeeze the bulb, and when you release it, it sucks up oil through the straw into the chamber. Then lift it out and we can use it for a whole host of things. You can just squeeze the bulb to dribble some oil out over your food, and if you need to refill it, just sit it back on top and give it another squeeze. There's even a measuring scale on the side, but the brush feature is really cool if you want to do something like greasing up some trays. Or if you're cooking and you need to oil up a pan, it works really well. But you don't just have to use it for oil. You could use it for balsamic vinegar or soy sauce or whatever you like. It's a really clever product and I've got to say I really like it. Next I want to show you this palm peeler vegetable peeler. So here it is. It's this interesting teardrop shaped peeler which comes with this protective case for the blades. You've got the blade here and on the other side is this loop that you're supposed to slide your finger through. And at the front there's this sort of cutting scoop to remove any blemishes from your vegetables. That part of it's a little bit awkward to use, but it does do the job. It's nice and sharp and does work really well for peeling. And because it's in the palm of your hand, it's kind of a weird sensation, just sort of rubbing your hand over the produce. This palm zesters in the same range. Again, it slides over your finger and sits in the palm of your hand. It's got this really cool zesting blade, which you can twist to remove. Perfect for your lemons. Again, it's nice and sharp and works well with these lemons. Open it up and it's full of zest, ready to use. But have you ever seen one of these? It's a garlic press. First you need to peel a load of garlic cloves, then you can load them up into the press through the bottom, screw the base back on, then start twisting the handle. It slowly winds down the plunger, pushing down all of those cloves and compresses them at the bottom. And then finally we get this mashed garlic just kind of extruding out. And once you've got enough, you can kind of just swing this plate across to cut it off. If we take a closer look, it doesn't completely mash it, there's still a bit of texture to it. Ideal for cooking. Next I want to show you what's inside here. It's a digital timer, but it's got some really cool features. To start with, it's a nice large size, which means the display is really easy to see, even from far away. It's actually got 2 different brightnesses, which is useful, and there's really large, simple buttons on the top. Stop-start for the stopwatch, and clear, and hour, minutes and seconds if you're using it as a countdown timer. When it gets to 0, it starts beeping, and the clock starts to count back up so you know how much time has elapsed since the alarm went off. There's 2 different sound levels, loud or quiet, or you can have it so it just vibrates. And if we take a look at the back, we've got 3 options for fixing it. First of all, there's just a stand which pulls out, and we can sit it on the counter. If you prefer, there's this tab that folds up, which allows you to hang it on the wall. Or the third option is using these. They're 4 magnets, so if you like, you can stick it to something like your fridge. The other thing I really like about this gadget is it's also rechargeable. It's got a USB-C connector here on the side, so just plug it in to charge up the inbuilt battery. Next up is this grilling cage for barbecuing sausages. You can see there's space for 6 sausages altogether. I tried it out with 3 different sized sausages to see how well it holds them. Fold the top of the cage over to grip them, and this ring slides over the handle to lock it together. And it's supposed to make it easy to cook them, but when I flipped it over, the smaller ones did slide out, so it may be best to use the same size sausages throughout. But I tucked them back in and placed them on the barbecue to cook, and what's great is you can still close the lid down so it acts as a bit of an oven and leave the handle poking out. Once the first side is cooked, you just flip it over, and this time the smaller ones didn't fall out. I think they slightly expanded as I've cooked them and maybe curled round a little. Then once they're cooked on both sides, you can just slide back the lock and they're ready to serve, or use the cage to transport them to wherever you're eating. Now check out this tomato and grape cutter. Inside here is a really sharp blade, and it slides over this tube with the blade running down the centre. So to use it, you just fill the tube up with your tomatoes. Ha, that looks cool, but you do have to be careful not to tip it the wrong way, otherwise they just roll out. So then take your blade, line it up centrally, take a firm grip, and give it a push through. It goes through them pretty easily because the blade is so sharp. Then you can empty them out onto the chopping board and take a look. It's sliced them all in half perfectly. You can also use it with grapes. But if they're not all exactly the right size to fill the tube completely, once you've cut them and take a closer look, you will find some aren't cut that evenly. Next up is this automatic egg cracker. Squeeze the handle and check it out, it opens up the legs. These two circles here are for gripping your egg, and there's a couple of very sharp blades at the bottom. So to use it, we take an egg and sit it inside the holders like this. Then hold it over the top of a bowl and squeeze the handle. Check it out, it's worked perfectly. It's nice and easy to remove the shell, then you can just place in another egg, and you can even use it straight over the top of a frying pan. That really is excellent. But which was your favourite? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to see some more really cool viral gadgets, you can click on the link here. Have fun, stay safe, and as always, thanks for watching.